Hey everybody, my name is Dr. Gleason. I'm going to be your instructor for this course. I just wanted to post a video today to introduce myself, kind of help walk us through essentially what this course is going to look like for the fall semester, so you can know me a little bit and kind of know what to expect. We're going to talk about the syllabus for a little bit, so you can. I'm going to kind of walk through that syllabus, so we'll be very clear on each expectation and the trajectory of the course. So right now, you'll notice if you log onto iCollege, if you go over to your, on the right-hand side, you'll see the syllabus, and you can pull up fall syllabus right here. Move you over here. And you will see there is me, Dr. Gleason, Christopher Gleason. You'll notice my email. Now, this is really important. I was a student here at GSU for a good bit, so I have a student Gmail or email as well. And so it's going to be very tempting for a lot of people to try to email me at cgleason1 at student.gsu. Please do not do that. If you email me at that email, I may or may not see it in the right amount of time. That's not an email that I use very frequently anymore. So you'll notice in the syllabus, if you want the best and quickest way to contact me is cgleason1 at gsu.edu. So you know, I can't really stress this enough because every semester I kind of have this issue. Please email me at that email. Also, do not email me or message me through iCollege. There is a messaging system in iCollege, and a lot of times students want to contact me that way. I don't get those notifications, and so the best way to contact anyone in the university system is to their proper faculty email address. Okay, so I can't stress that enough. If you want a prompt response, which I'm usually pretty good about getting back very quickly, please email cgleason1 at gsu.edu. You'll see my office hours are here, obviously because of COVID and because of our office location, and this being an online course, that is not as applicable, but I have no problem meeting via WebEx, Zoom, or something if someone has a problem. So just email me and if you need office hours, and we can work that out. You'll notice here that the syllabus, it's very important. This is essentially an informal contract. Well, it's a fairly formal contract. It can change. Obviously, you know, with drastic changes in events like we had in the spring semester, things can get switched around. But for the most part, the purpose is to stay very, very close to the syllabus, right? So I don't foresee, especially with this being an online course, there being any major alterations. So I think we could probably go down the line here. So you'll see that this is a description. This is a U.S. history survey. It's essentially the colonial period, which we'll see, all the way through the present, right? So it's a very fast shot that we're going to go through American history. So so coming out of this class, we want you to be able to have kind of a general idea of the basic themes and concepts of American history, the problems that have happened in American history, major events, and things like that. So we'll be talking a lot about those things. Obviously, this being an online course, you will need to have access to the internet and Microsoft Word. I think that is essentially the basics that you will need. There's no other major programs or anything like that. As long as you can write a paper in Word and you can submit it, and then you can read and watch the videos that are going to be posted online, then you'll be successful in this course. I'm going to jump down. You'll see in the syllabus, we go down to general education goals. We want to make sure that you can communicate effectively using appropriate writing conventions. We're going to see, as you'll see in a second, that there are some writing assignments that you'll see. And so that's important, that we'll be able to think reflectively about the issues and interpretations and events of American history, and then be able to communicate those in written form. You will notice, jumping down to required texts, the textbook for this course is Jeffrey Young's The Dream of America. It is completely free and online and supplied through iCollege, provided through iCollege. You will see when we jump over here in a second that there are modules. Each week we're going to do one module, and essentially you're going to have a video, and then you're going to have, you'll go down and there'll be little readings for each each thing, and then at the end there's a chapter that you can read as well. So I'll go through that in a second. But academic honesty, I don't think this is going to be a super big problem. This is a online course. Because it is online, I expect it to be open book. So you can, as you go through, take notes, use your notes. There's never going to be a period, or even on the final, where you can't use the information that you've used or written down for yourself. That being said, obviously, I have had problems in the past where people will submit a reading response or something like that, and then another student will submit the same one. That obviously is grounds for failing the course. So I don't think I need to talk too much about cheating, but it is there. So you can see attendance policy. This is an online course, so obviously there is no attendance, but there are quizzes each week. There's assignments to do each week and there's reading responses throughout the semester, which we'll see in a second. And if you fail to turn those in and turn those in on time, it is my responsibility. If you don't do them, especially in the first couple weeks, you can be dropped from the course for financial aid. So while there's not an official attendance policy, if you don't turn in the assignments and don't turn them in on time, that will affect your grade and possibly drop you from the class. So keep that in mind. If any student has a disability, contact the disability services. I don't foresee that being a huge issue here, as far as us not being in person, but if there's any way, if there's any questions about that, just email me and I will accommodate whatever I need to do, gladly. I'm going to jump down. Course evaluations. You'll have to evaluate me to get your grade, I believe. Grading scale, you can see it's a plus or minus system. So, A minus or A plus, A minus, A on down, right? So I put that here so you can see it. Now, here in the assignments, you'll notice that there are 12 quizzes at 10 points apiece, right? So it's 120 points on these quizzes. Now, these quizzes are each week, and they're due, very important, they're due by the end of Sunday every week, okay? So you will need to complete those quizzes by 11:59 on Sunday night every week, throughout the first 12 weeks. There is no quiz over Module 13, but that will be fair game for the final, the stuff that's in that module. So next, this is very important, the primary source analysis, okay? So this is another big chunk of your grade. You'll notice there are 4 of them at 10 points apiece, so they're essentially kind of like 4 quizzes, and for a total of 40 points. Now, you'll notice that each week there is a module, which we'll go through in a second. There is, reading that you do, and then, a quiz at the end of the week. There's also going to be every week a primary source reading. Now, most of the time this is going to be, a letter, a document, something that pertains to the information that we covered that week. And so what I want you to do is that you'll notice when we get down here at the schedule that throughout the semester there is a due date for one of these, where I want you to write a one page, double spaced. This is important. Make sure that it is a complete 1 page, double spaced. Please do not put headers at the top. I know a lot of people, especially coming from high school, have the tendency to put, the first fourth of the paper is, your name, my name, the class, the date. I don't want any of that. All right. So it's for you to get full credit for these writing analysis, you should write your name at the top. I honestly don't even care if you write your name at the top, because when you submit it through iCollege, I know who you are. What is very important to me is that you fill the entire page up with double spaced content. Okay. And I will. This is a very short assignments. And I'm kind of a stickler on this because they're short. I'm not asking you to write a 3-page paper. I'm not asking you to write a 5-page paper. It's 1 page. And so, single space, that's not, and then, half a page, and then you double space it. It's 1 page. Okay. So it's a very short assignment. And so what I'm really looking for there is meaningful content. All right. And so you'll have a reading, and you'll see that throughout the semester, there'll be a reading each week, and then you'll have a deadline for one of these. Now, you can choose any of the readings or primary sources that I have given you up until that deadline, okay? So well, just to jump ahead, you'll see week 4. So by Sunday on week 4, your first reading response is due, right? So now if you'll look, you'll notice that there are, 4 readings up until that due date. Columbus's Journal is one, John Winthrop's City on the Hill, Unit 2, the Declaration of Independence, week 3, and then the Articles of Confederation on week 4. You can choose any one of those to write about. Choose one, and then write a 1-page analysis of it, okay? And that, whichever one you choose in the first 4 weeks, that analysis is going to be due by Sunday, September 20th, right? So that's your first reading response. And if you look down at the you'll see that there are reading responses throughout the schedule. Now, what I'm looking for in that is I want you to be able to, give me a general summary of what it says and what it essentially who the author is, how what the content of the actual document or video or whatever it is, and then I want you to be able to relate it to the material from that week. Right? So tell me why the person is saying what they're saying. Tell me what's the major issue that they're responding to, right? So really all I'm looking for is a general summary and to tell me why it means what it means, right? So this is that's essentially what the reading analysis are too. So remember, very important, general summary, what is the meaning of it, or how it relates, what is the greater context, what is the event that they're reacting to. You can put a line or two about how you feel about it too if you want, as long as that's meaningful. I am not looking for an opinion paper though. I want to see that you can summarize it and put it in context, right? So it's in history, that's what we want to do. When we read something, we want to be able to understand what the person is saying and what is the larger context of what they're reacting to. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to email me, and I'll answer those questions. There's a final exam you'll see. It's worth 50 points at the end. I actually give a pretty big space of time at the end of this course. You'll see that, which we'll see in a second, to kind of study for that. It will essentially be, I will give you a number of essay questions that will kind of generally cover the things that we've talked about throughout the semester. And what I'm looking for is that you pick 2 of those, and you can write essentially what will be a standard 5-paragraph essay on each one, right? So, I would expect that final exam to be, roughly 4 pages. I would say double space is a good indicator. So, a solid 5-paragraph essay for each one of those, or 2 of those questions that I give you, right? So remember, I'll give you 6 questions. You can pick, and I don't want you to worry about this because you're going to have a decent amount of time to do this, and it's going to be open notes. It's essentially, you can look back through everything that we've seen through the semester and kind of answer 2 of these questions that I give you, right? But I'm looking for, because there's a good bit of time, and because you have open access to all of the material, I do expect substantial thought to go into it, right? So, you can kind of, and you'll have those questions. You'll have roughly over a week and a half to answer those questions. I'm not trying to trick anyone or cut points or anything like that. I want you to really understand the material and to be able to show me that you understand it. So right here, course schedule. Let's jump down here real quick. I am having some technical difficulties here. You'll notice that today is the beginning of week 1. We're going to talk about colonialization, Columbus's Journal. Week 2, we're going to jump into your second. You'll see that these are units. Now, when you see unit, it's the same as the module. You're going to just go through the material, and it'll be very self-explanatory. I'll jump over there in a second. Notice that week 4, that's the first reading responses due. Like I said before, you can pick any of those readings from that week up until week 4 and write 1-page paper on whichever one of those you want. You'll see that the next one is going to be due on October 11th. That's your second reading response. Very important. Now, October 11th for the second reading response, you can't go back and pick something that was due before the first reading response, right? So the only thing that is acceptable for the second reading response will be something that we read, one of the readings from week 5, 6, or 7. So that's going to be Frederick Douglass, William Lloyd Garrison, or W.E.B. Du Bois, right? And then you will see that there is another one on week 11. That's going to be November 8th. That's your third reading response. Again, you can't go back and do a reading that was under the second reading response or the first reading response. So the only thing that's going to be acceptable for the third reading response is going to be week 8, week 9, 10, or 11, right? And then you'll see very quickly 2 weeks after that, you're going to have another one. The only thing that's going to be acceptable for the fourth reading response is going to be week 12 or week 13, Malcolm X or the Anita Bryant video, okay? So keep that in mind. You can't turn in, you know, all 4 reading responses on the first 4 weeks, you know, or what we cover in the first 4 weeks. You can't go back, right? So whatever reading response has to be in the weeks leading, you know, from the last reading response to that, because I want to keep things in context here. And then you're going to see that you're actually going to have a pretty long stretch here. There's a Thanksgiving break in the end of November, and then I'm going to give you that week 14 as an exam review, right? So I'm going to give you these questions, and you're essentially going to have, you know, I could probably get them to you before Thanksgiving, actually, and that will give you, you know, over 2 weeks to essentially prepare that final paper, right? Which I'm looking for essentially, you know, roughly, like I said, you know, 2 5-paragraph essays over those questions I give you. But you'll notice that that's a very long time to write those. So don't think about that too much at this point. Real quick, if you notice, if you go to the course, over in the side, you're going to see syllabus, lectures and textbook chapters, and readings. So if you just click lectures and textbook, you'll see that there's a unit. Now it's a unit a week, essentially. And if you click into that unit, you'll see that there are, you know, roughly 10 modules for each unit. So every week, what you're going to do is you're going to click, you know, whatever unit, whatever week that is, unit, whatever, and then you're going to go through each one of those modules. You can do them, you know, at your own pace, as long as you cover that material. There, if you click a module, you'll see that there is a short video, usually a couple minutes long, and then there's going to be some text, and you're going to go through each one of those. I want you to take notes on those. All of the quiz materials, or all of the content in the quizzes are going to come directly from this material, okay? So when you do a module, go into the module, watch the video, read the text, take some notes on it, because you can use your notes, and then you are going to, at the end of that module, you're going to go up to assessments up at the top, drop down to quizzes. If you click quizzes, there's going to be a quiz over that unit. And you'll see that it corresponds completely 1-to-1. Unit 1, quiz 1. Unit 2, quiz 2. And they're all each week, right? So I think that will be fairly straightforward. And then lastly, you'll see readings. So if you look down, click readings, and you're going to see that they're very self-explanatory too. Week 1 is Unit 1. Week 2 is Unit 2. It's all the same, right? So for this week, week 1, you just click week 1. There's Columbus Journals. Read that if you like, and then you can write your reading response on it, or if you want to wait and write your reading response on one of the other ones coming up in the next. As long as I have the quiz done by 11:59 on Sunday night every week, and as long as you turn in that reading response by 11:59 on the due date for each one of those throughout the semester, then you will be fine. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. That is what I'm here for. But I'm very excited about this semester. I really wish we were in person. I love being in the classroom and miss that dearly. But unfortunately we can't be. So we're gonna make the best of it. And thank you for signing up for History 2110.